In what was a pretty shocking announcement yesterday, Enel X Way sent emails out to all of its customers and stakeholders informing them that they were shutting down business operations in North America completely, turning their servers off, turning their backs on their customers, leaving their customers with equipment that either doesn't work, won't have app functionality, or is basically bollards in parking lots now because the DC fast charging equipment that they sold to these customers won't work without back-end support. Now, this announcement just happened less than 24 hours ago. I'm still trying to digest what happened here and the ramifications. Typically, I like to wait a little time before I make a video when I have all the facts and everything. But in this case, I am getting bombarded with emails and messages from my followers on Facebook, on Twitter, my private email asking me what's going on here. Am I going to be able to use my Enel X Juicebox? I had one person contact me that have Enel X DC fast chargers on their property. They're like, we came in today and they just don't work. Well, they're not going to work. This is bad. So let me see if I can unpack what's going on here. And I'm also going to bring in a guest who's an industry expert that knows a little bit about what's going on in the back end here and can hopefully provide us with a little clarification of where we go from here. With that said, let's get into it. All right, so first I want to talk briefly about the history of the company and the Juicebox charger, because it's kind of interesting. Back in 2013, a person by the name of Gleb Nikiforov started a company called eMotorworks, and they made the Juicebox. It was the first Wi-Fi connected smart electric vehicle charger on the market. There were no Wi-Fi connected smart chargers with an app before that. All of the other car chargers that you could buy were just dumb chargers. You plug them in and they charge your electric car. And even those weren't very prevalent at the time. There was only maybe a dozen companies making them, not like the hundreds of them that are available today. But Val decided he wanted to make a Wi-Fi connected smart charger so customers can have an app and control the charger and view charging history, start and stop a charging session, set schedules, all the stuff that is say normal today that most smart chargers can do. Val pioneered this when he created the Juicebox. And I was one of the first people to review the Juicebox way back in probably 2014. I guess it was maybe on the market for a year at the time. And it looked like this unit here, except the original Juicebox wasn't painted. It was just silver aluminum. This is an aluminum enclosure, and it had a different antenna on the top. But other than that, that's what it looked like. Val ran the company and became very popular. It was one of the best-selling electric vehicle chargers on the market back then, until 2017, when the Enel X acquired eMotorworks. They bought it from Val. Enel is the largest private utility over in Italy, and they also own utilities in other areas of Europe. Their primary business is selling energy. So they decided they want to get into the electric vehicle charging scene. I know when I was in Italy a few years ago, I charged on Enel's DC fast chargers out in public. They have a lot of chargers over there. In Italy, I think they pretty much corner the market on public charging. But they wanted to get a piece of the pie over here in the US, so they acquired eMotorworks. They quickly redesigned Val's initial design here and made it look like this. Plastic enclosure, still NEMA 4 rated though, so it didn't give up any of the weatherproof rating. And they put this integrated connector holster in here, which was a good improvement. But one of the things that I wasn't happy about at the time was they redesigned the app. I think a year later they came out with a new app, and my followers started complaining to me about the app and saying, you know, it seems like every time they do a new update on the app, it gets worse. And until recently, the last couple of years, I had customers saying, I'm not using my Juicebox anymore. The app is so terrible, it's almost unusable. And it was surprising because that was always a good part of the Juicebox. It's part of the reason why people use it. They like the app. And it seemed like with every app update, it got worse. So I stopped recommending the Enel X Juicebox about 2 years ago. Before that, it was always on my top 5 list for EV charging equipment. And I loved the Juicebox. I used it for a long time personally before I started really doing heavy EV charging equipment reviews. But I noticed a drop-off in quality, and the app was terrible. So I said, you know what, there's a lot of other good chargers out there. I don't need to recommend this charger anymore. But Enel also makes public charging equipment. They make the Juicebox for public use for AC charging, but they also make their own DC fast chargers, and then they also rebrand some equipment from other companies like Tritium. And they have DC fast chargers out. They sell them to people. Customers put them on their property. They don't have a huge footprint with DC fast chargers in North America, but it's decent. They have a bunch of them out there. And those are actually a bigger problem right now with what's going on with them shutting down businesses than for the AC chargers, because the AC chargers for the most will work. This charger will work here. It'll charge an electric car, but I won't have app functionality. The app won't work because their servers are shut down. But the problem with the DC fast chargers, you absolutely need them to run. So the people that have Enel DC fast chargers right now, public chargers, they're just bricks sitting on their property. And I've gotten about 5 emails from people that have Enel DC fast chargers, dozens of emails and messages from people that have the regular home charging equipment, want to know, is their app going to shut off? Are they going to be able to use it? Is another company going to come and buy the company and then maybe turn the app back on? Which none of that I'm aware of. I really don't know at this point. It's so early on. But I do know that the DC fast chargers just don't work. At least the AC home chargers will work. The people that invested the big bucks in the DC fast chargers are really up against it right now. I don't know what case they have with Enel to, litigation or whatever, but this is not good. And hopefully we don't see this with other charging networks in the future. They just decide, you know what, we're not making money. Let's just close up shop and just walk away. But in any event, I just wanted to give you a little history of the company, where Juicebox started, and it was interesting to me because it was at a time the best home charger you could buy, and it's a shame to see it over the years slip, and that really started happening once Enel took over. So before we go into this any further, I want to read the email that Enel sent out to its stakeholders and customers. Dear Enel X Way USA LLC stakeholder, after careful consideration, Enel X Way North America has decided to close its electric mobility business in the US and Canada, operated by the local subsidiary of Enel X Way USA, effective October 11th, 2024. An experienced third-party firm will be appointed to manage the company's affairs and ensure that the closure is handled with the utmost care and professionalism. The appointed firm will be responsible for managing the remaining obligations and communicating directly with customers and partners regarding the closure. This decision is in line with Enel's group strategy approach to e-mobility that pursues further growth by providing bundled offers, including private charging solutions to its electricity customers, as well as developing public charging infrastructure in countries where it has an electricity retail business. By contrast, Enel North America has no retail electricity customer base and was active in the e-mobility segment only through the sale of charging hardware and software. Yeah, but you knew that when you came to this country. You knew that you didn't own any utilities and wasn't selling electricity here, so you can't use that as an excuse. Okay, additionally, the dynamics of the EV market in the US have changed quite a lot in the last year, and like many other companies, Enel X Way North America has been impacted by high interest rates, which have increased the cost of scaling the charging infrastructure business in a framework of sustained uncertainty where EV sales growth expectations have not been met. Here's what you need to know. Residential charging hardware, Juicebox, will remain the physical operating ability to charge vehicles. That means you'll still be able to plug in your electric vehicle and charge it. All Enel X Way software will be discontinued. Commercial charging stations will use functionality in the absence of software continuity. So that means the DC fast chargers and the commercial AC chargers will lose functionality. They won't be able to work, period. The Enel X Way app and all other Enel e-mobility apps in North America will be discontinued and removed from the App Store. Enel X Way customer support is no longer available, effective immediately. That's crazy. They send out the email, okay, that's it, we're done. Any Enel X Way related questions and claims should be directed to juiceboxnorthamerica.com. And good luck getting answers. The decision to close Enel X Way USA LLC and related impacts do not apply to Enel X Way customers in other countries outside of the US and Canada. Enel X Way North America understands that its decision has implications for those who had chosen its charging solutions. Inquiries regarding any outstanding matters, including customer accounts, orders, or obligations, can be directed to juiceboxnorthamerica.com. North America remains a core geography for the Enel Group, where it will continue to focus investments in utility-scale renewables and demand response. This message is for informational purposes only. Replies are not monitored. Wow. So basically, they're saying that the residential juice boxes will still work. They'll still charge your electric vehicle, but you're not going to have the Enel app anymore. You won't be able to schedule charging, look at your charging data, your past charging history. The thing that I'm curious about is, I know the Juicebox with Enel had partnered with quite a few utilities in North America for demand response programs. I wonder how that's going to work out. I don't know if the utility has the ability to keep that functionality going and do the demand response programs, or if they're also saying, you know what, we're just shutting everything down. If any of my followers have a juice box and are working with their utility on a demand response program, please let me know in the comment section if you've heard anything from your utility about this yet. I mean, probably not. It's just been a day or two. And if you have any guidance on whether or not that program is going to continue, or if it's going to end now since the Enel servers are being shut down. Pretty serious stuff here. This is quite a shock. I did not see this coming. I know Enel wasn't doing great here in North America. I've known people that have worked for the company and some that have left, and I know that they weren't happy with where they're at, with the progress they made here over the last few years. But to just shut down abruptly like this, it seems, not very responsible. I mean, they have customers that spent a lot of money on their charging equipment. I mean, it's one thing to spend money on a $500 home charger. Actually, it costs more, the juice box, but customers spend tens of thousands of dollars on DC fast charging equipment, and to just say, you know what, sorry about that, we're closing up shop, you can't use it anymore, is very irresponsible, in my opinion. So I don't have a lot of other information on this, but what I did do was reach out to a friend of mine, Gleb Nikiforov, who is the CEO of United Chargers, makers of the Grizzle E charging line. And Gleb's always in touch with the industry and knows a lot about what's going on. He's got a lot of friends in the industry, and I figured he might be somebody that might be able to give us a unique perspective on this. So I asked him if he'd come on for a quick 20-minute interview. He agreed to on short notice. I mean, I called him a couple hours ago and said, could you do this? And he said, name the time. So next we're gonna jump on a call with Gleb and get his thoughts on what this means for the industry. State of Charge is powered by Qmerit. After I've helped you decide which electric vehicle charging equipment you're going to buy, follow the link in the description of my videos and let the EV charging installation professionals at Qmerit install it. All right, so I'm here with Gleb Nikiforov. He's the CEO of United Chargers, and he has a unique perspective. He's in the business. He deals with back end. He knows this business inside now. So I thought he'd be a good guest to come on and I could ask him his thoughts on what's going on here, because it's a shock to the industry. Gleb, first of all, thanks for coming and taking the time to come on here today.
Thank you very much, Tom. And as usual, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much for asking me to come.
Yeah, no, this is great. And well, I appreciate you coming on short notice like this. I messaged you and, an hour later, you're like, yeah, I can jump on. So really good. This is big news, isn't it, Gleb? I mean, this is, I have over 50 emails. I have emails from people that own hardware, commercial hardware, saying, Tom, what can I do now? I have emails from people that have residential juice boxes saying, am I ever going to get app functionality back? So, and some of these commercial customers, it's one thing to spend $500 on a home charger and then maybe you need to get a new one because you're not, it doesn't do what it's supposed to, but it's completely different. If you've invested tens of thousands, $100,000 on commercial equipment, and then the manufacturer just pulls the carpet out from you and says, "Oh, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. Your units are just bricks in your parking lot." This is terrible that they did. Could you give us a little bit of an idea just what went on here? Why did this happen?
Yeah, I want to be honest with you. I barely slept this night, and I was thinking overnight, like how we can fix it, what we can do to fix this, and my prognosis is not so optimistic, to be honest. So what happened? Just brief history. United States of America is mostly built on proprietary software. So the protocol between the charger and the backend is proprietary. We don't know how charger talk to the backend. In Europe, mostly, all the chargers talk to backend using the OCPP, Open Charge Point Protocol. Nothing to do with charge point, with all respect. It's just the name of the protocol. So in Europe, we know how each charger communicates. Grizzly chargers, for example, they talk OCPP as a native language. So in case, let's say, Grizzly United Chargers, God forbid, goes out of business, you will be able to go to Grizzly Charger and connect to it, reset it, and then we have a link on the website, which I would ask you to show later, how to connect our charger to the third-party OCPP server. And this is what I call hardwire-enabled OCPP chargers. Unfortunately, in North America right now, companies like Enel X and as far as I know, ChargePoint, Floor, they use proprietary protocols. Their OCPP compatibility is based on their cloud software. So in the cloud software, they have a separate service which is running, and that service can enable OCPP communication. So if your OCPP server is enabled by Enel X, for example, like what Epic and ChargeLab have been doing with Enel X for quite some time, and I wish them best of luck in what they do, and maybe they will be able to bring it back online for commercial chargers, maybe. But if Enel X would allow them to use this socket, they will go in and connect to some specific chargers which are allowed. Now, the problem with Enel and the problem what happened is that they basically shut down their servers. And the servers are not working. Now, if servers are not working, the way of communicate to the actual chargers were only through the servers. Servers shut down. That means that, if you don't know the protocol and you don't know the IP address and you don't know all other things, how this thing works inside, you won't be able to connect.
Okay, so basically what you're talking about, how the products that you manufacture are true OCPP products, which is the Open Charge Point Protocol, for those that don't understand what that means. So if United Chargers went out of business tomorrow, which we know is not going to happen, you make great products.
Hopefully.
Another entity could come in, or individuals could come in and just connect those to a third-party software and just start using them. Whereas the Enel equipment doesn't work that way. You can't unless Enel helps you and gives you the codes. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, if Enel, no, not the codes. Enel need to have their servers up. Mm-hmm. They need to turn their servers up. It's costly. We understand. It's costly to keep the servers up. You need to have people who will look after the servers. You need to pay for the cloud services that may be tens of thousands of dollars every month. We pay a lot for our cloud services, and we know it's not cheap. But for the sake of the hit on the market and the consumer confidence and all other things, million things that went wrong with this, I would say, rage exit of the market, because there is value in Enel X software. There is a lot of value. I don't understand. I can't comprehend how they could just throw it all in the garbage and just rage quit, shut the door like this without any notice, and leave all these people stranded out there. It's I can't comprehend it, unfortunately. That's why I wasn't sleeping all night. I was trying to figure out why they did it, and I think it was an emotional decision based on Enel. So what I would like to ask Enel, people who are in charge of Enel, as much as we understand your emotional decision of, or maybe other motivated decision, why you decided to do it, we would like to ask you as a community, I'm not only talking for myself, I'm talking for all the companies who produce and sell chargers in the industry, is if you could convert it into an open software agreement, or something that you can open those servers for anybody who want to use them, and people who would like to use them will pay for keeping the servers and maintaining the servers and having them ready. I'm absolutely sure there is a dozen of companies out there which will take on all the servers and enable the chargers to be functional, and then potentially or eventually make a software update which will make them truly OCPP.
Would that be something you would be willing to do if they made a deal with you? Would you pay for it?
Well, I would jointly chip in into such an adventure just to keep those customers. I don't have any personal or business logic to do it, to be honest. For me personally, it would be better if they just die.
But then you could sell your equipment to the people that.
But as far as I understand, we are. It's a joint market. We all suffer from the hits and losses like this. So another question I want to ask, as IP is pretty much lost right now with such a quit of Enel X and dissolution, all those people who were fired 2 days ago from Enel X headquarters, all those programmers who were designing and developing those servers, if you would like a job, send me email. And maybe I will not hire you directly, but I have companies like Epic, ChargeLab would be extremely interested in getting those chargers back online. And I know that Enel has been doing integration with ChargeLab and Epic, at least. I'm not sure about MPOP or Switch or others, but I know, and I'm in communication with Zach from ChargeLab and the CEO of Epic, and they hope they can restore services. I wish them best of luck, but I'm not very optimistic, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that leads to another question, Gleb. What happens, like, Enel didn't have a very large footprint in the commercial space in the US. They had a pretty good sized footprint for home residential chargers. I mean, there was a time when the Enel Juicebox, it was one of my top rated chargers. This was really before you came on the scene. Going back to the eMotorworks days with Val Miftakov, who started eMotorworks, then later sold it to Enel. It was the first Wi-Fi connected smart charger on the market. And I thought it was groundbreaking back in, I think Val started working on these in 2013, somewhere around there. But what happens if this is the tip of the iceberg? What happens if a CPO like, let's say, ChargePoint, if this happens to, ChargePoint has thousands of chargers all across the country. I mean, they have the largest footprint of equipment, at least. They're not a CPO. They don't operate the units, but they make the equipment and sell it. What happens if this happens to a ChargePoint? Would the same thing happen, or could a company come in and take over ChargePoint's equipment? Or is it true OCPP, or is it like what Enel has?
It's like Enel. So the greed is a bad thing for people. Investors' greed makes proprietary software. So we're talking about chickens and hen. So ChargePoint, Floor, Enel is a hen, and they collect chickens under its wings, which are customers, and they don't want to let them go. And that is bad business because, well, if remember when we had cell phones where you cannot keep your number. If you switch your cell phone provider, we are old enough to remember it, right? So same with the charging stations. Charging station hardware need to be OCPP at hardware level. So no matter what happens, you can switch it to any provider. Now, that will bring a new air, breathing air into this field, and hundreds of companies will appear competing with for their best quality software, best features, price on the market that will lower down. You're not going to pay $20 per month or $30 per month or $40 per month as you pay now per port with the existing providers. You're probably going to pay $3 a month, and you get way better service, and then you'll be accountable, because if you don't do your job right, then people will leave to another provider. But that is not happening. We need to, I don't know how we can mandate it, but if, God forbid, ChargePoint will go out of business, and I don't know why Enel didn't sell their business. It's valuable business. I don't know. I don't think they asked too much. But if there is nobody who wanted to buy Enel, who would buy ChargePoint? ChargePoint probably 10 times more money. If nobody bought Enel, nobody will buy ChargePoint. They will have to shut down their servers as well. God forbid they go out of business. And that would be a tsunami wave which will just destroy consumer confidence, and that will put the whole electrification movement on halt, or maybe even destroy it. It's a very serious issue. That's why I am very much interested to help Enel customers as much as I can to get their chargers back online and working, because that will resume the normal way of business. What's happening right now is absolutely out of normal.
Yeah, I can see how this is going to shake confidence. It's coming at a bad time too, where there's seems to be a lot of negative press about electric vehicles. Oh, they're not selling as well, even though that really isn't the case. Electric vehicle sales continue to climb quarter after quarter. I think some specific OEMs aren't hitting the sales targets that they set, but that's internal sales targets. If Ford thinks they're going to have 30% year-over-year increase on EVs, and then they only have 17%, that's not really saying something about the industry. That's saying something about, Ford's internal management structure on how they predicted sales to grow. But sales across the board on electric vehicles continue to grow quarter after quarter, and there's more and more vehicles on the road, every day. Listen, Gleb, thank you for your time. Thanks for shedding some light on this. I appreciate this. So hopefully we'll get some clarity soon, and maybe, as you said, maybe Enel will work with somebody to get their servers back online long enough, at least, to be able to change the get the information.
We need maybe a couple of months of servers to be online. We need to understand the protocols so they can open it to the public, and this way they can do less damage, because right now there is a lot of damage they do in which not necessary, absolutely not necessary. One more thing, for those who buy a new charger, if you read that the company is OCPP compliant, don't just trust them. Prove it. The proof would be if they can show you how you can, on hardware level, enter the IP address of another OCPP server, then it's good. If they cannot show it to you, don't trust. You can be an Enel customer.
Yeah, that's. I tell you, it's. I can't believe they did this. Like I said, particularly for their commercial customers. I mean, what a terrible business move this is, to just stiff their customers.
With commercial customers, we have some hope, because if chargers are not made by Enel, because they did some Tritium chargers, some other those chargers are actually OCPP hardwire enabled. Those chargers, potentially, ChargeLab and Epic, can take over without Enel software. But as far as I know, don't take my words for 100%, but as far as I know, all the Enel-made chargers talk their own protocol. If we don't know protocol, we can't do nothing.
Yeah, and for the residential chargers, if you bought one of the Enel X Juiceboxes, the unit will still charge your EV. It's just it's a dumb charger now.
Well, they had an update a couple of weeks before the shutdown. Those people who installed the update will have their units working as classic Grizzly, right, as a dumb charger. Those people who didn't install the update, I believe their charger bricked.
Well, I'll have to try mine, because I have a couple of them here in the garage, and I haven't even plugged them in a year or two. I stopped recommending the Juicebox to my followers a couple of years ago when I saw the quality go down, and I used to always recommend it, but I really stopped a year or two ago. I'll plug it in and I'll see if it'll just work just as a dumb charger. I would imagine it. That's how I thought they always worked. Even if the network was down, it would work as a dumb charger. But a lot of people bought it to schedule charging because they're on time of use. Now I know most EVs can do that in the EV, but a lot of people did it in their apps, and now they'd have to schedule it in the car instead of that. But that's not the point. The point is you spend $600 for a Wi-Fi connected smart charger with an app and smart charger features. You should have that.
Absolutely.
And now they don't.
It's a bad thing, very bad thing. But please spend time, try it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're all working. That's great. But at least you have a working charger, right? It's a very sad story. As much as Enel was our competitor, and as much as we compete, I would love to see them alive and working and competing against us with the customers. It's a very sad story. The left and how they left specifically sad.
I like how you called it. They rage quit.
Yeah, it looks like they just shut the door.
Yeah,
in front of everyone, and that is a temperate exit. I hope they're going to change their mind. I asked them, please change your mind. Start your servers. Make sure we have some time to take over. Again, not me. I am least interested in this. Yeah. But if nobody else is up to the game, I will stand up and do it.
Well, thanks. And Gleb, thanks for coming on. Enel is an Italian company, and Italians are hotheads. So maybe they did rage quit, as you said.
You are Italian, right? So
I'm half of my family's Italian, so I know all about.
Maybe you can talk to them, and settle it down so they calm down, and they can restore it like this.
Yeah, I know. And, it's just a shame that they did this. And it's going to be interesting what happens in the coming weeks. Hopefully we'll get a little more clarity. Maybe they'll make a deal with somebody to turn them back on and get things going. I just feel terrible for the people that's invested tons of money in their equipment, and now they have just these bollards in their parking lots. I've gotten emails from people telling me, Tom, I have three of their units. They're all turned off. How do I turn them back on? How do I use them? I don't have any answers. It's terrible.
So we need to learn from mistakes, right? If we continue keeping doing mistakes, we are stupid. We need to learn from mistakes. So what we need to learn from this situation, this mistake, every charger, especially commercial one, need to be hardwire OCPP enabled. Then somebody leaves, okay, takes you 5 minutes, find another provider, there will be plenty. Like ChargeLab is open up right now, Epic is open up to accept customers. They will give you all the instructions, 5 minutes, and you are working on another provider. Done. No problem at all. But having all this hardware wasted is such a waste. Such a waste.
Well, maybe this issue here today will a good thing will come out of it, and it'll inspire. Maybe we'll have laws put on the books where it has to be hardwired OCPP, and we'll start operating like they do in Europe, and
yes, we need to look
maybe
at
something good will come out of this. Gleb, thank you very much for your time. As always, I appreciate it. I'm sure it's not the last time we're going to chat. I'll have you back here on State of Charge sometime soon. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Tom.
And thanks again, Gleb, for coming on and taking the time to talk to me about this. Your thoughts and opinions on this industry are always respected here at State of Charge. It's a tough spot we're in here. I wouldn't want to be a customer of Enel X DC fast charge equipment right now. I'll tell you that right now. And quite honestly, I wouldn't want to be using the Juicebox as my full-time charger. I actually took this off the wall here in State of Charge. I haven't used it in quite a while, maybe like 2 years. And it's not like I'm short of chargers here. So I opened up my app, and I haven't updated the app in a while because I haven't used it in a while. And as soon as I tried to access the app, it said, you need an update in order to go forward. So I pressed the update, and it took me to the App Store. When you press on, download the update, you get web page not found. So it is shut down. You know, they weren't kidding. They shut down the servers. They're removing the app from the app stores, and you know, it's not like they gave us any notice on this. You get an email and that's it. We're done. Sorry guys, we're out. It's very irresponsible of Enel X, in my opinion. Gleb talked about how he thinks that they were. This was kind of like an angry move on their behalf. I don't know the backstory. I don't know what made them do this, but to shut down so abruptly, there's got to be something going on behind the scenes that we don't really know about. And hopefully I'll get some information in the coming months. Now, Gleb also indicated that he knew of a couple companies that are trying to work with Enel to get their DC fast chargers working. And one of them that he mentioned was ChargeLab. ChargeLab reached out to me actually right before I started making this video about an hour ago, sent me an email and said, look, we had been working with Enel for months on OCPP operability and being able to use our software to manage their chargers. Maybe they had some information that Enel was going to be in trouble, and maybe they were trying to work out a deal to take over their equipment. I don't know that much, but ChargeLab seems to indicate that they may be able to make it work. So I would recommend, if you own DC fast charging equipment that you purchased from Enel, reach out to ChargeLab because they may be able to find a solution for you. Now, from what I understand, and this I got this from talking to Gleb, it might be easier for them to get the third-party hardware like the Tritium units that Enel bought and put them on their network working much easier than it will be Enel's proprietary equipment, because Gleb does not believe that anybody will be able to break that and get it working unless Enel turns their servers on and works with that other company to make sure that they can connect to their software. So Gleb seems to know a lot about this. It's his industry. He knows a lot about OCPP. So I tend to default to what he's telling me, that if you have a Tritium unit that you bought from Enel, there's a good chance that a third party will be able to come along and make that work for you. It would be a shame if it's not, because I know they're very expensive. I'll follow up on this if I get any more information, either with another video or I'll post comments and pin them to the top of this video. Once I learn some more, like I said, I like to get more information before I make videos, but this was such a pressing news story, and so many people messaged me saying, Tom, are you going to talk about this? What are our options? Should I just throw my Juicebox out now and buy another charger? I want a smart charger. I want that app functionality. I want to view my charging sessions and so forth. I don't have that answer yet. Right now, I would say don't make any rush decisions. Let this play out over the next couple of weeks, and then we'll see. Maybe there will be another partner that comes along and takes over their assets, and everything gets turned back on, and you can continue to use it. But for now, just hold tight, because we really don't know. And the other thing that's interesting that Gleb and I talked about is, what if a bigger player like ChargePoint did this? Could you imagine the thousands of chargers that are out there, the public level 2 chargers? ChargePoint has the largest network by far of level 2 chargers in the country, in apartment building complexes, public parking lots. If they all one day just bricked, man, that would be trouble. And hope that doesn't happen. But you know, it's something that we have to think about now that Enel did this and just said, you know, we're out of here. We're going back to Italy. Ciao. You know, so hopefully we don't see this happen with another company. You know, that we are at risk of doing that. And I really personally wasn't aware of the fact that the chargers could be OCPP compliant, but that doesn't mean that any third-party software operator can just dial in, you know, change the codes and then have access to the chargers. Gleb talked about the fact that that's how he designed his chargers, the United chargers. If he were to go out of business tomorrow, anybody who has his DC fast chargers, his AC chargers, would be able to have a third-party software company come in, turn the chargers back on, and use their app. But that's not the case with most of the other equipment out there. So I'm going to probably reach out to ChargePoint and ask them what would happen if this if they decided to shut their business, how are their chargers designed? If they just shut down their servers, would that just block everybody out? I don't have the answer to that. So I'm going to reach out to them and some other players and see if I can get some answers. But for now, hey, this is where we're at. Enel's kaput in North America. And if you have their charging equipment, sorry about that. They didn't do the right thing. They just closed up shop, packed up, hopped on a plane and went back to Italy. Very disappointing to see a company do that. Well, listen, that's all I have here today. I just wanted to get this out there. So many people asked me to put something out to talk about it. I figured I had to, even though I don't have a lot of facts. I'll follow up when I get more facts. Listen, if this is the first time here at State of Charge, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming electric vehicle news and reviews. And as always, thanks for watching.